So we're going to call the meeting of the Finance Committee to order on October 7th, 2020. Wait, let me just get something off my screen. As chairman of the Finance Committee, I find that due to the state of emergency declared by the governor as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, and in accordance with the governor's emergency order number 12, pursuant to Executive Order 2020-04 and subsequent extensions, this public body is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to this meeting, which was authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. However, in accordance with the emergency order, I am confirming that we are providing public access to the meeting by telephone, with additional access possibilities by video or other electronic means. To access Zoom, please refer to the agenda for the city's website for the meeting link. To join by phone, dial 1-929-205-6099. The meeting ID is 847-2720-1775. And the password is 303204. The public may also view the meeting via channel 16. We previously gave notice to the public of the necessary information for accessing the meeting through public posting. Instructions have been provided on the City of Nashua's website at www.nashuanh.gov and publicly noticed at City Hall and the Nashua Public Library. If anyone has a problem accessing the meeting via phone or channel 16, please call 603-821-2049 and they will help you connect. In the event the public is unable to access the meeting via the methods I've already mentioned, the meeting will be adjourned and rescheduled. Please note that all votes that are taken during the meeting shall be done by roll call. Let's start the meeting by taking a roll call of attendance. When each member states their presence, please also state whether there is anyone in the room with you during this meeting, which is required under the right to know law. So would the clerk please call the roll? Alderman Harriet Gathright, you are on mute.
I was wondering why nobody was answering. Okay, Alderman Patricia Clee, she's excused.
Alderwoman Clee.
Alderwoman Elizabeth Liu.
Present, alone.
Alderwoman Harriet Gathright, I'm present. I can hear everyone. I'm in this room alone and I'm practicing social distancing. Alderwoman at large, Shoshana Kelly.
I'm here, I'm alone, I can hear everyone.
Alderman at large, Brandon Michael Laws.
I'm here, I'm alone, and I can hear everyone.
Alderman at large, Michael B. O'Brien, Sr.
I am present. I can hear the proceedings. I am alone, but let me give you a warning. Computer says an unstable platform, perhaps maybe with the storm, so I hope I don't get kicked off. Thank you.
And Mayor Jim Donches.
I'm, of course, present, and I'm alone in the room, and I'm practicing social distancing.
Okay.
All right. First item is public comment. Is there any member of the public who would like to speak to the committee about anything? All right. Next, communications. The first is from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager. Alderman Harry.
Yes, Mayor, I motion to accept, place on file, and approve the sole source purchase of asphalt and aggregates from Brooks Industry of Hudson, New Hampshire, and Continental Paving of Londonderry, New Hampshire, in the amount of $144,500 Funding will be through Department 161 Streets, Fund General, Account Classification 61 Supplies and Materials by roll call.
All right, and there's a explanation we have to give here. So for many years, the city did not come to either the Department of Public Works did not come to either the Board of Public Works or to the Finance Committee regarding the purchase of asphalt because the purchasing manager, two purchasing managers ago, who left, I don't know, 10 years ago or so, maybe not that much, but quite a few years, had the opinion that it was a commodity contract which didn't need approval. And then that practice was followed by the previous purchasing manager who you all met earlier. Then in recent months, Kelly Parkinson has joined the city as purchasing manager, and she has raised the point that she thought that this should be approved by the Board of Public Works and the Finance Committee. Fine, that no problem. We will do that from now on. But the only issue is that pursuant to previous custom, pursuant to previous practice, the Department of Public Works has already bought $25,000 of asphalt this fiscal year against this $144,000 budget amount. Now I'm just repeating that this is what's been done for years pursuant to a practice that was established about 10 years ago. Apparently that was not, at least current thinking is that's not the way it should have been done. So we're correcting the situation now. And from here on in, we will bring this contract to the Finance Committee at the beginning of the fiscal year. Questions or comments? Oh, well, let's let Mr. Ibarra speak about the asphalt and what it's all about, and then you can ask questions or comments on any of this. So, Mr. Ibarra, could you tell us about the asphalt?
Be happy to, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. So this motion is for funding the asphalt and aggregates for our street operations. We use the asphalt for mill and fill, shims and overlays on roads that may not be part of the existing paving program that we do annually. So this more or less gives us the ability to get some more time out of the roads when they're deteriorated, but not yet on the paving list. We also run the hot box out of this and do berm mix. And on the aggregate end of things, we would buy stone and sand through the same companies that we would use for project based stuff or sewer repairs or drainage repairs, whether we need stone or sand or fill. So this is really something we use daily in our operations.
Okay, questions or comments? Alderwoman Lou.
Thank you. Just wondering, is this pretty much a year's worth, or I'm just trying to get a sense of how much of this we buy a year or use?
So, glad you asked. So I had a similar question out of the commissioners at our BPW meeting last. And this past year, last season, we used approximately $99,000 worth of material. But to put it in perspective, the prior year to that, fiscal 19, we used $126,000. So it does vary based on the departmental needs and projects that are coming around every year.
But as I understand it, you do not necessarily, you only spend for the product that is delivered. So it's not, so if you end up using 99,000, you pay 99,000, not 144,000.
That is correct.
So it's a so-called requirements contract.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, comments? Could the clerk please call the roll?
Alderwoman Lou,
Yes.
clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly,
Yes.
Alderman Laws,
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien,
Yes.
and Mayor Donches.
Yes. All right,
Thank you.
next on the agenda, motion passes. Next on the agenda is another communication from Ms. Parkinson. Alderman Harriet Gathright.
I motion to accept, place on file, and award the purchase of monocular night vision devices in the amount of $35,710 to Maxavision Technologies of Jupiter, Florida. Funding is available through Homeland Security 2019 Law Enforcement Terrorism Prevention Activities Grant by roll call.
And I believe Karen Smith is on here, or who's from the PD, or who is
Yes.
that?
Both Karen Smith and I have Captain Fay here to speak to the binoculars and any questions you might have.
Okay, could you just give us a brief overview of, what, I know this is grant funded, but just what it is you're buying?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. We're intent on buying 9 night vision devices, binocular type devices. As you know, most of the work that's done in public safety and police work is done during low light or nighttime hours. So it's important for us to have the capability to be able to see at night and so that we can do our work effectively. So that's going to apply to both our search and rescue mission sets as well as our law enforcement, criminal offender mission sets. So 9 devices will be issued out to individual members of our team, and it's going to increase our ability to be able to see at night.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
Yes, can I have the spelling of Captain's last name?
Fay, F as in Frank, A-Y.
Thank you.
That's just for the minutes.
Yeah.
Any, Alderman O'Brien?
Yeah, thank you. And I just wondered if Captain Fay can answer a technical question. Of course, I support this. I think it'll definitely enhance the safety of our officers, particularly working in a low light environment. But having experience with the fire department heat sensing cameras, I imagine this will pick up some of the heat signature. But is it capable of looking through walls and different type of environments and everything?
Nope, these devices do not have a thermal capability. We do have a couple of thermal devices in inventory, but these ones in particular will not do that. That would be a much more expensive device if we were to go with that option. Some of the newer technology does incorporate night vision technology with thermal technology blended together, but it's extremely expensive.
Thank you for the explanation. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else? Could the clerk please call the roll?
Alderwoman Lou,
Yes.
clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly,
Yes.
Alderman Laws,
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien,
Yes.
and Mayor Donches.
Yes, and the motion passes. Thank you, Captain and Ms. Smith.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, unfinished business, we have none. New business resolutions, R20-076, Alderman Harriet Gathright.
I motion for final passage of R076, 20-076 by roll call.
All right, and the members will, I'm sure, are aware that this was the subject of last night's public hearing, and a rather extensive explanation was given at that time. But basically, this is authorizing the payment of lease payments in order to do a major energy saving project with the school department at the 2 high schools. The objective is to convert to LED lighting and make a number of other energy efficiency, take a number of other energy efficiency measures at each high school. The resulting savings will be about $460,000 a year. The engineering company that has designed this project is guaranteeing the $460,000 of savings, and will write a check to the city if that level of savings is not achieved in any one or in any number of years. But they're very confident that it will be 460 or more. The EEI, who's the engineering company, has done extensive work with Manchester and other public bodies, so they do know what they're doing. School department, Sean Smith and Dan Donovan, and also Doria Brown, energy manager, have worked on this. The lease payments will be $450,000 a year, so the city would save at least $10,000, probably more. But the energy reduction, reduction in the carbon footprint is considerable. This will save about 1,600 tons of carbon emissions every year. The equivalent, and Doria figured this out to be 346, I forget exactly, 340 some automobiles. The city, in terms of automobiles and SUVs only, has about 80, which are used regularly, and about 16 sort of backups. So it's like taking the city's car and SUV fleet off the road several times over, and will be a big step towards achieving the energy goals that we have articulated of a 20% reduction in carbon emissions by 2025. I won't go into more detail just because I think a lot of you heard it last night, but I did have one question for Alderwoman Liu. You asked a question about the interest rates last night, and I actually answered it, but then when I got through, I think that my speaker was on mute, so I don't even know if you heard the answer. If you did, great. If you didn't, I could answer it again, but I didn't know if you could hear that or not.
Yes, I heard you speak. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
All right. Okay. Because when I finished speaking, I looked and it was on mute, and I wasn't sure if it had been on mute.
No, you came through.
Okay. All right. Any other questions or comments? Yes, Alderwoman Liu.
Thank you. I did have shortly after the meeting last night, I sent a question, a couple of questions out, and I haven't heard back. And I mean, it sounds wonderful. There was just one thing when I looked through the paperwork, there was references to the energy performance contract, but I didn't see it. For instance, on page 138, it refers to the energy performance contract, and it says it's Exhibit C. It says it's Exhibit C1 rather. So I only saw the equipment lease purchase agreement. That was my question that I sent last night. One other thing, I mean, there were actually a couple of other things, but they're not, but the question I also had is, I noticed that if at some point we decide it's better to buy, because we've already got the assets installed, et cetera. But there's kind of a prepayment penalty. And does anyone on the call know when that prepayment penalty goes away? I noticed that for several years, I only went 5 years, and I saw that it's about $200,000 fee if you prepay it.
Now, of course, the lawyer was on, the attorneys were on last night. There's been extensive interchange regarding this contract. These are questions of, certainly, I don't know who you wrote your question to, but these are certainly questions we can get answered.
Yep.
But,
Okay.
but we need to bring in the legal the legal office to do that, which of course I'm glad to do, but they're not here tonight.
No, that's fine. I did include them on that, so I will just wait for that answer. And Yeah.
All right. Well, I will follow up with them and make sure that they get back to you.
I'm sure they will. No problem.
Any other questions or comments? Alderwoman Kelly.
Yes, thank you. I wasn't feeling well last night, so I didn't hear the full context of the conversation, but I have been following this closely as a member of the Energy Environment Committee, and I'm happy to see this come forward. I would commend both the mayor and Doria Brown for making our commitment to carbon footprint reduction a reality with projects like this. So thank you.
Thank you. Now, I want to also say the school department has been very important in this, and we believe we can work with them on a lot of other projects in various schools. So I think this is a big project, but just the hopefully just the first. Or it's not. There's a couple of smaller projects, but hopefully there'll be a number of projects following on from this.
I look forward to it. Thanks.
Anyone else? All right, could the clerk please call the roll?
Alderwoman Lou?
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly?
Yes.
Alderman Laws?
Yes.
And Alderman O'Brien?
Yes.
And Mayor Dodges.
Yes, so motion passes and the resolution is recommended for final passage. There is new business ordinances, we have none. The record of expenditures is next. Alderman Harriet Gadsden.
I motion that the Finance Committee has complied with the city charter and ordinance pertaining to the record of expenditures for the period from September 11th, 2020 to October 1st, 2020 by roll call.
Any questions or discussion? Could you please call the roll?
Alderwoman Lou?
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly?
Yes.
Alderman Laws?
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien?
Yes.
And Mayor Dodges.
Yes. Motion passes. Excuse me, our next item is general discussion. Are there any items of general discussion? Public comment. Any member of the public wish to speak to the committee on the items that we have before us? Remarks by Alderman. Any remarks by Alderman? If not, Alderman O'Brien.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to make a motion to adjourn by roll call.
Could the clerk please call the roll?
Alderwoman Lou?
Yes.
Clerk says yes. Alderwoman Kelly?
Yes.
Alderman Laws?
Yes.
Alderman O'Brien?
Yes.
And Mayor Dodges.
Yes. Thank you all. And the meeting of the Finance Committee is adjourned at 7:24 p.m. Have a good evening.